Welcome to the show, everyone. Oh my God, we are going to have a fun show today, and I'm excited about bringing on my guests so that they can tell a little bit about what they do to all of you out there. We're live on Facebook, so I do want to say hi to everybody out there. Like us and follow us. We will share the show later on. My first guest has been on with me once before. I have Marvin Helfman, and he is the owner of Marvin Helfman Accounting and Tax. Your accounting and tax services. You are a specialist in what you do, and the first time you came on, you've kind of sort of refocused your business these days. So I think a lot of people are trying to do that right now. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing now.
Okay, well, it just, from networking and meeting people, I found that the greatest interest that people had in the many things that I'm able to do is in my expertise and skill and experience in accounting and taxes. So I decided to go ahead and just refocus in that area, and it's really been a great success for me. That's where we're going, and that's fine. So essentially my background history is, I'm an accountant, I have an MBA, and I have years and years of experience in accounting and taxes, including working with the IRS as a revenue agent. So that particular information or skill is something that people are really looking for because everybody's always afraid of preparing for an IRS audit and have somebody who can help them kind of deal with that a little bit. I do all kinds of specialty things also for accountants and other tax professionals. They're looking for people to handle overflow type work or special projects. And that's something that I know how to do also. So it takes the burden off of them. They send me out to one of their clients. I go ahead and do some special work in helping them get their taxes straightened away, their accounting system straightened out. We're working on some special analysis for their clients as well. So I work for accountants. I work for corporate executives, and I also do individuals too. I do individual taxes and help them with their problems as well.
Well, what I think is really wonderful is that you are, if somebody is going to outsource, you would be the person that they call.
Correct.
Correct?
Correct.
And I it's interesting because today I think a lot of people who, even if you are already proficient in what you already do, and maybe you need that extra hand, you can call Marvin, and you can be that outsource for them and being like an extended employee or an extension of themselves. Is that correct?
That's correct. A lot of accountants or any other company don't necessarily want to bring on an employee for a short-term period of time.
Sure.
So they'll hire me to come in on, at my standard fee or what we negotiate, and then I go ahead and work on the project, and then it keeps them focused on what their business is unless we deal with the emergency, so to speak.
Now, I want to get out your information. You do, obviously, especially if you're going to go and work for an accountant, you want to get to know them.
Correct.
Right? And that's really important. So you're going to have a consultation with
Correct.
them. You do free consultations, whether you are working for an accountant or if you are doing something for anybody. You're going to sit down and talk and kind of obviously have to get to know their business. That's the number one thing.
Correct.
Right? Now, your phone number to call, it's 480-243-7131. His website is helfmanaccountingandtax.com. And, especially if you are listening right now, if you are an accounting, he's here to help you as well. I want to go into, because you gave me today, I really like this, the who, the what, and the why. Right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, and you kind of went into it already, but I want to talk about some of these different services that you offer. Let's say somebody is getting audited. I want to talk about that. Let's say you're a human being who, for whatever reason, you're getting an audit. Okay, can you help them? Because the worst thing about it is having to get everything together.
Correct.
Right? Do you help them with that?
Exactly. It's kind of interesting. I was at a group meeting this morning, and they asked me to give a presentation just for a couple of minutes to talk exactly about that. Essentially, the IRS isn't out to get you, so to speak. They're looking,
really?
They're looking for differences. They're saying, well, why is there a lot of income this year, or why is there a lot of expenses? They look at what you filed on your tax return, and they just want to know. So they send an inquiry, essentially. And you have to produce documents to demonstrate why these changes exist. And that's how you get those letters. So the way to avoid that is really make sure you have good records. Keep your files squared away. You can keep them digital or in a file or in paper form. Make sure that that information translates correctly to a good accounting system, and whatever accounting system you like to use, whatever software, tabular paper, whatever it is, just make sure it's clear and you can follow it, and make sure that information translates correctly to your tax return. You do those three things, and if you do get audited, then you can go ahead and present the documents and you can fly through it. One thing, a little secret that a lot of people don't know about the IRS is that if they find a mistake on your tax return where you overpaid your taxes, they're gonna refund that to you.
Well, that's pretty nice of them, but what I think they're gonna do is they're gonna put a credit towards your next pay, right? Usually that's what they do, am I correct?
Well, that's a long way down the road. You know, what they do is they tell you what
If you overpaid, which is.
If you owe taxes.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you owe taxes, they're gonna tell you that, they're gonna give you a report there at the end of the audit, and then they're gonna say, okay, you have options on how to pay this. It's gonna include interest, and it's gonna include penalties usually. And the other thing is that they don't nitpick. If it's a de minimis amount, and there's a way that they calculate that, and it's not as bad.
That's awesome.
It's not as bad as you think.
Yeah, you would think that it's the complete opposite.
You would think so, because they're vilified in the media and television and
Right.
so forth.
But when you can, the bottom line is, if you're having that issue and you don't want to deal with it, you can call Marvin and you can do that for them, correct?
What I can do until the end of the year is help them prepare for it. I can help if they have a professional tax preparer who's going to represent them before the IRS. Then that representative will usually have me come in, make sure the records are squared away, make sure the accounting system's squared away, and review the tax return. After the first of the year, beginning in the next year's tax season, I'll be able to go ahead and represent taxpayers directly with the IRS.
I want them to tell them a little bit about yourself and tell them why they should call you.
Okay, well, I have like 38 years of business experience. I've started 13 businesses myself, and as a business banker, as a financial advisor, fee-based financial advisor, and of course working for the government, both with the Bureau of Economic Analysis. Those are the people that calculate the consumer price index and the gross domestic product. They have accountants there. I worked for them for about 4 years, and then after that I worked for the IRS when I moved out here to Arizona. So I have this huge array of
Understanding,
experience.
yeah.
And I'm also a CPA candidate right now, and I'll be getting my enrolled agent license at the end of the year also.
But the main thing is too, if you are a CPA and you need some help, he helps with people like that. So it's great to have the information. Maybe it's you, maybe it's someone that you know. His phone number is 480-243-7131. His website is helfmanaccountingandtax.com. He does free consultations. And you gotta get to know the business. That is the first thing. Does it matter what size business?
Well, I usually try to focus on the smaller businesses and medium-sized businesses. Those are the people who can't afford an army of accountants on staff. And they're usually retaining an outsourced private CPA firm. And so those are the people that I normally work with. When I work with the IRS, I work in small business, self-employed. So if you're starting a business, or you're new to a business, or you have a small business, let's say less than, well, definition-wise is less than 500 employees, but I like to kind of stick with people companies with, less than 100, 150 employees at most.
You can also help with bookkeeping.
That's correct.
So there's a lot of reasons why you might need someone like Marvin in a business where we are outsourcing now more so than ever, right? And especially if you do what you do and you do it well, you can focus on what you do. Even if you are an accountant, there's an overflow is what you say sometimes, right?
That's correct. One thing I want to point out, it's not just a key thing when I meet with somebody new is to find out what their needs are. They believe they have certain problems, and when I go and talk to them and ask them questions and so forth, I may find additional things that they were unaware of. So it's really important to have that initial consultation, and allow somebody with my background, my expertise to sit there and ask the probing questions to really determine the full scope of what their needs are.
Well, I'll tell you something, and especially if you are getting audited, he's the person to call. But you also work for the IRS as well, so you know the ins and outs of what to do and make sure.
I used to work for the IRS.
Well,
Yeah.
before, right?
Correct. I
And-
retired from them, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, when I say that is you have the experience, you
Correct.
know what to look for, what not to, and you know how to make it right so that there aren't any problems, and that's a big, at least to try your best to do
Well,
that.
that's right. Some people, sometimes there are just problems. The idea then is to try
Sometimes
to.
you are what you are.
Yeah, well, sometimes there's ways to navigate the system, there's way to work with IRS. They have payment plans, they have mitigation things, reduction plans, all kinds of things. One of the things I used to give out to taxpayers was the taxpayer's Bill of Rights. And if you don't get that when you meet with the IRS, you should look at that.
I'll tell you something, I would think that everyone would want that. Tax season is all year round, and this is a great time to get yourself ready as well. If you need someone like him, if you even are a CPA already, he can help you as well. 480-243-7131. It's Helfman Accounting and Tax.com.